Hi guys, Dr. Erika Austin with Go Healthy. Today I'm going to be talking about a 6-step approach to how to thrive during difficult times. And actually this topic is very near and dear to my heart. It's really personal and it's something that I've been able to implement personally and take professionally, meaning I now help other people because of my own personal experience with dealing with difficult times. So I'll share some of that with you because the strategies that I've come up with have not only helped me, but they've been backed by science and have been able to help other people. So when I talk about, I first want to kind of give a disclaimer. When I talk about difficult times, this could be an array of topics. It could be a tragic death or loss in your family. This could be the loss of a job. It could be a loss of a relationship. It's anything that kind of evokes sadness and grief, essentially. So I'll tell you a little bit about my own personal story with dealing with a difficult time and some of the approaches that I used and that you can also use. So it's been a while now, but 16 years ago, my first husband passed away from melanoma. And that time really kind of just tailspin me into despair and grief and depression, and it was a really difficult time. And I learned a lot along the way, and I'll be sharing a little bit about what I learned with you guys today. And, because life is life, things come up and we're all kind of bound to face some difficult time. And so recently, my younger brother tragically also passed away. So again, a difficult time doesn't have to be a loss. That's kind of on the extreme end of it. But what they all share in common is that it does kind of elicit sadness and some type of grief. So the first lesson that I learned that I want to share with you, the first step, the approach, is to really kind of dive into what you're feeling. And with grief, you experience so many emotions. And I know that when I lost my first husband, I really can now see that I ran away from those emotions. I would keep myself busy, anything that I could do to not dive into the pain, because honestly, it was hard. It was difficult. It's when there's a lot of negative emotion, we tend to want to run from it. And there's different ways. Some of us turn to food, some of us turn to alcohol, some of us turn to shopping, gambling. There are all ways to try to escape pain, essentially. They all kind of have that common denominator. So the number one thing that I learned is you can't run away from it. It'll keep following you. And I probably tried for a few years, honestly, but it was still there. So I had to face my pain, and I would encourage you to do the same. You have to dive into those negative emotions, and often we're scared. We're scared of, the sadness, the grief, the despair. But once I learned to embrace it and look into it and really kind of hear what it had to say to me, be open to the lessons, be open to what it had to say, it became a lot less scary and it became a lot less overwhelming. And I was able to integrate what are often labeled as negative emotions as just emotions. We're all going to experience sadness, we're all going to experience joy, and we wouldn't really be able to fully appreciate joy if we didn't have that sadness to compare it to. So it's just there, it's a range of our emotion. Don't vilify it so much, just kind of allow that space to let it be. I know for me, what worked is to journal a lot. I still continue to do that. It's part of my morning practice that I do every day to just kind of get in touch with how I'm doing, how I'm feeling. So the number one tip that I would give is to definitely just turn inward, turn into your emotions, kind of hear what it's saying and allow it the space to just communicate and know that it's part of your healing. So I encourage you to just feel what you're feeling 100%. I know for me, the more I ran away from it, the more it was still there and the more I had to deal with it. And don't be scared of your feelings. They're there to open up a window to a part of you that you maybe never let in. So really allow yourself to feel those feelings 100%. The second approach that has been found to work is to focus on the positive things, the good in your life. And I know that can almost feel counterintuitive when you felt something that's been really difficult. And maybe it was even gut-wrenching and you're starting to think, how can I even see light in this? This is dark, this is heavy. What good is there to focus on? but I'm sure that there's some good that is still in your life. And again, I'll use myself as my example. When my brother recently passed away, it was a dark time. I'm not gonna, lie about that. I had to dive into the emotions of grief and sadness and sit with that. And they still, if anyone has faced grief, it's a journey. It comes back up, it comes in waves, and when it comes in waves, you just have to allow it to be. But as I was saying, you also have to leave a window for what is good. I still have 2 healthy, amazing daughters. I have a healthy husband. I myself am healthy. So when you start focusing kind of just, allowing little cracks of time of focusing on what is good and allow yourself to be really in gratitude and appreciation for what is, it's not in any way taking away from, the difficult time that's there, but it's reminding you that there's good and bad, and all of it is a part of our life, and it's kind of our job to integrate both the good and the bad. So I know at first it can feel like your mind just wants to focus on the negative, but the more you allow pockets of time to focus on the positive, the more your brain will start kind of reframing that negative a little bit, and you'll start seeing it in a different light. The third approach that has been found to really work is to ask for help. And there's actually 2 camps to this. So one is clinical psychologist Deborah Sinai actually found that when you ask family and friends and loved one for help, that it actually strengthened those relationships because those people are wanting to help you. Sometimes they may not know what to do or say, but if you reach out and you can be more concrete with what you need, hey, it would really help me if you could pick up my daughter from school. I found that that's a hard time of day for me. It would be a huge help. You're actually going to strengthen that relationship with the person that's helping you because they're excited to be there for you. They maybe haven't been able to figure out how to be there for you. So by you offering, concrete ways of how they can support you, it's going to strengthen the existing relationships that you have. The other way that asking for help is important is sometimes we think that we have to get through this difficult time all by ourselves. And there's no coincidence that top athletes, top performers, top business people, they all usually have one thing in common, and that's a coach or a mentor or somebody that's helping them along the way. So when you're facing something difficult, I would encourage you not only to reach out to friends and family, but also seek out somebody that maybe has walked in the shoes that now you're in that can offer some real concrete guidance along the way. So don't feel like you need to navigate this new kind of scary terrain all by yourself. See what kind of help is out there, maybe a grief support group or any way that somebody can identify with what you're going through. And nowadays we have a lot of exposure online. If you don't want to go in person, there's a lot of online support. So just to try to reach out and ask for help, that's going to help you navigate and get through that difficult time. The fourth approach to thriving during a difficult time is laughter. And now that can feel very counterintuitive, especially if you're going through something very difficult. But research has found with combat vets, with cancer survivors, with surgical patients, that if you can allow windows of laughter in, that it actually helps speed up healing. Think of laughter as kind of a little crack in the door that's allowing your rational mind to kind of just rest for a little bit. When a difficult time arises, our brain is kind of in overload. It's trying to make sense of this difficult time, it's trying to process it, and you can stay very stuck in your head. But if you allow moments of laughter, whether it be with a movie that makes you laugh, a show, a friend, anybody that can lift your spirits, anything, a book, something that lifts your spirits and makes you laugh can really help kind of create and open up a little bit of door to more healing. And that has been found, like I said, with people going through very difficult times like cancer patients, combat vets. Any pockets of laughter are gonna help heal and give you a different perspective. The fifth approach to thriving during difficult time is to remember gratitude. And that kind of goes along with an earlier step that I mentioned, but it's very important to not only remind yourself that there's still good that's happening in your life. I would encourage you during a difficult time to practice gratitude daily, morning and night. It's terrible that this thing happened, acknowledge that, be okay, acknowledging that, then ask yourself, what am I still grateful for today? I'm still grateful that I have my health, that I can walk outside, that I have a family that loves me, that I have a roof over my head, that I have a job to go to. There's so much beauty and goodness in the world that often a difficult time can overshadow that. But the more you practice gratitude, the more it can really help energize you, it can move you more into healing, and it can move you more into integrating this difficult time as a lesson. You know, what is it here to teach you? What new perspective is it opening up for you? What new doorways is it opening up for you? Going back to my case, it really helped me to help other people, you know, that were in my shoes and want to really share the power of healing and the power of turning something difficult into something that can really heal other people. The sixth approach, which usually gets completely left off, but is so vital when you're going through a difficult time, is self-care. Usually when we're going through something that's stressful and difficult, the first thing to go is our self-care, because that just seems like a luxury. It seems like something that maybe you don't have either the time or the energy for. But the more you devote time and energy to your own self-care, the more you're really helping yourself to heal. And self-care can look different for different people. I know for me, it means getting enough sleep. It means exercising. It means getting good nutrition. It means filling myself up with people that help me laugh and just remind me of the beauty in the world. You know, it could be as far as going and getting massages, a facial, anything where you feel like you're just filling your cup up. Because the more you fill your cup up, the more you're able to step into the world and, process this difficult situation that's happened in your life. And the number one way to do that is by first showing up for yourself. If you can't show up for yourself daily, then you're not going to be able to show up for your grief and for your sadness and for your family and for your job and for all those things that unfortunately don't pause when you're going through a difficult time. And you'll be much better able to handle life when you first show up for yourself and make sure that you're taking care of your own needs. So I would really encourage you to put it on the top of your priority list. It is going to definitely help you during a difficult time. If you feel resistance to it, I would encourage you to just nudge through and really just take small steps. What can I do to take care of myself today? And it may start off with something small, allowing yourself to sleep in. Sometimes when we do go through grief, you do need more sleep. So it's just listening to yourself, listening to your needs, listening to what you need. As you move further along in your grief journey, it could be more including more exercise, going outside and getting more fresh air, playing with your kids more. So anything that just lifts you and feeds you and just reminds you that it's still important to take care of yourself. And the reality is that as much as we would all like to wish away and wish that difficult times didn't arise for us, just being a human being, a part of this life, the reality is that they do. And while we can't escape them, I hope that these 6 strategies gave you some insight and some tools and what you can do to really help navigate and thrive during difficult times. So we can't change the difficult times, but I hope that I've encouraged you to feel into them, to allow yourself to be open to the lessons that they teach you, to remember to laugh, and to be grateful for what you currently have, and to just try to walk through it as much as you can with a gratitude lens. And to remember that this difficult time, you'll once be able to look back and see that you've navigated through it and that you've gotten to the other side. So until the next video, thank you so much for being here, and I genuinely hope that these strategies will lift you and guide you in some way. Thank you so much.